A Rolex Daytona that once commanded almost $50,000 in 2022 is now struggling to break $30,000 on the secondary market. The once sure-shot investment, the Submariner Starbucks, has fallen nearly 30% from its hype peak. Collectors who once believed Rolex prices would only go up are now facing a very different reality. If you've watched the luxury watch market over the last few years, you already know something big has happened. Rolex prices aren't behaving the way they did during the 2020 to 2022 boom. The question today is not which Rolex will skyrocket. The real question is, which models hold value, and which ones are financial traps? Today we break down 6 popular Rolex models, using real market data, historical context, and collector psychology to understand what the numbers actually mean. Model 1, Oyster Perpetual 41, Ref 124300. The Oyster Perpetual 41 became one of the most overhyped Rolexes in modern history. At its peak in April 2022, pastel dial variations, especially yellow, turquoise, coral red, were selling for over $22,000. Today most variants trade between $8,000 and $11,000, basically retail price, which is $10,550. Why did this collapse happen? Because this watch's price was built almost entirely on social media hype, not scarcity. The 41mm OP is a simple watch. No date, no complications, just a clean dial with 3 hands. Powered by the modern 3230 movement with a 70-hour power reserve, 100 water resistance, and a comfortable, timeless oyster case design. The green dial exploded in popularity due to Instagram and TikTok influencers. Collectors expected Rolex to discontinue some colors, creating FOMO, but Rolex continued production, and demand normalized. Risk level, high. There's very little upside at current prices. Brands like Grand Seiko offer better finishing for the same or less money. Verdict: a great daily wear Rolex, but as an investment, don't expect value growth. The speculative premium is gone permanently. Model 2, Submariner Date 116610LN. Produced from 2010 to 2020, this is the final 40mm ceramic Submariner before Rolex increased the case size to 41mm. Retail was around $8,950. Today it sells for $10,400 to $11,000, barely above retail. But in 2022, during the hype era, this same watch reached $15,000 to $17,000. Why the decline? The newer 126610LN has an upgraded 3235 movement with longer power reserve. Rolex produced a lot of 116,610s. No rarity factor. Price inflated due to hype, not fundamentals. Analytics put its risk score around 51 out of 100, meaning a high-risk investment in the short term. But here's the nuance. This watch uses the legendary caliber 3135, one of Rolex's most reliable and easy-to-service movements. Collectors also love the classic 40mm Submariner proportions, which many believe look better than the new 41mm. Verdict: not a great 5-year investment. But over 15 to 20 years, as the last 40mm model, it may become a vintage classic. Buy only if you love it. Model 3, Explorer 2, Ref 226570. Released in 2021, right in the hype boom, early buyers paid $14,000 to $15,000. Today the market sits around $11,000 to $12,500, while retail is $9,650. Why the fall? Because availability improved dramatically. Many ADs now offer this watch with minimal waiting time, a huge sign of fading demand. It also underperformed the overall Rolex market by over 8% in the last year. But the Explorer 2 still has strong value. 3,285 movement, 70-hour power reserve, true GMT functionality, rugged 42mm case, iconic polar white dial with orange 24-hour hand, deep Explorer history tied to cave explorers and adventurers. The Explorer 2 is often called Rolex's most underrated professional watch. Verdict: at retail, it's a safe buy with low downside, but paying above retail makes 0 sense. It's a watch to wear and enjoy, not flip. Model 4, GMT Master II Pepsi, Ref 16710. Now we enter serious collector territory. The 16710 was made from 1989 to 2007, placing it in the neo-vintage era, not modern, but not vintage either. Current prices range from $12,000 to $17,000, depending heavily on condition, bezel insert, and whether the watch is unpolished. Why collectors love it? Last aluminum bezel Pepsi before Rolex switched to ceramic. Aluminum fades beautifully, giving each watch unique character. Later models feature the improved 3186 movement. Slimmer case compared to modern GMTs. Easier on the wrist, more vintage charm. Increasingly hard to find in original condition. Performance, down 4% in 2024, but up 10% over the last 5 years. Medium risk, 47 out of 100. Collectors value imperfections, fading, and original parts. This is a watch with personality, something modern Rolex has lost. Verdict. Among the strongest long-term investment Rolex models. Buy a clean, unpolished, original example and hold it for 10 to 20 years. Model 5, Submariner Starbucks 126610LV. This watch represents the modern hype bubble perfectly. Retail, $10,600. Current market, $13,000 to $16,000. Peak price in 2022, $25,500. A dramatic 30% collapse in just a few years. What caused the crash? Massive hype. Social media-driven FOMO. Rolex increased production. Waitlists shrank. Still a current model, no rarity. Collectors realized they overpaid by thousands. Despite having the excellent 3235 movement, scratch-resistant green ceramic bezel, and modern 41mm case, the watch still carries a very high risk score of 61 out of 100. Verdict. At retail, amazing buy. At market price, terrible investment. Do not pay $15,000 to $16,000. This is a watch for wearing, not for speculating. Model 6, Daytona Panda, Ref 116500LN. This model is the definition of hype and correction. Original retail, $15,000 to $16,000. Peak price in 2022, $50,000. Current price, $24,000 to $31,000. A massive 40 to 50% drop. And here's the twist. Even though Rolex discontinued the 116500LN in 2023, the new 126500LN trades higher than the discontinued one, something unusual in the collector world. Why collectors still love it? Iconic white/black panda dial. Fan favorite 40mm case. Column wheel 4130 movement, one of the best chronograph calibers. High heritage connection to vintage Daytona models. But the risks? Still trading at large premiums. Chronographs cost more to service. Could fall toward $20,000 to $22,000 if market corrects. Long-term stable, short-term risky. Verdict. Great if you already own it. Risky to buy at today's prices. This is a collector's piece, not a value buy. Smart buying strategy. After studying these 6 models, here's the smart approach. 1. Avoid large premiums on current production Rolex. The market is no longer 2022. Waitlists shrank dramatically. 2. For true investment, look at vintage Rolex, 1950s, 1970s. These models have authentic scarcity, something modern Rolex lacks. 3. Compare value with other luxury brands. Grand Seiko, Omega, Zenith often offer superior finishing at half the price. 4. Buy with your wrist, not your calculator. A watch you love will always be worth more to you than a watch you're trying to flip. 5. Think long term. The next big appreciation cycles are decades away, not years. Final verdict. The Rolex market has matured. The hype is gone. The days of buy any Rolex and double your money are over. Modern Rolex will hold value but won't multiply overnight. Vintage Rolex will continue to appreciate slowly and steadily. If you want an investment, buy smart. If you want a watch to enjoy, buy what speaks to you. In today's market, realism beats hype every time.